Okay, this video is going to discuss lesson 5.1, checking accounts. We're going to record a deposit on a check stub, endorse checks using blank, special, and restrictive endorsements, and prepare a check stub and a check. So, how can a business use cash? Okay, well, they can make small cash payments. Okay, so they can buy a stamp, an envelope, things like that. There's issues related to cash. You got chances of recording errors. So sometimes it's not accurately kept track of the cash. So you could have an error there. There's easy transfer without question of ownership. So anybody can take a $10 bill and give it to somebody else. There's no questions asked. And loss as cash is moved from one place to another. So you're going to the bank, you drop a $10 bill, you lose it. Okay, so there's got to be safety measures in place when you use cash. Now, and that's where a checking account comes in. A check is a business form ordering a bank to pay cash from a bank account. Okay, so you write the check, you give it to the business, that business takes it back to your bank, and that cash goes from your account to theirs. A checking account is a bank account from which payments can be ordered as by a depositor. So that check is that order of payment. Now, when you open up a checking account, one of the first things you have to do is do a signature card, and the names on that card are the people authorized to write checks on that account, and then they sign it, and that signature needs to match how you sign the check. So if you use your middle name on that, you have to sign it first, middle, last, every time you write a check. Okay. And when you also open that account, you're making an additional deposit. So you have to fill out a deposit slip. Okay. A deposit slip is a bank form that lists the checks, currency, and coins an account holder is adding to the bank account. So here's that deposit slip. Okay. So the first thing we do is we fill out the date. Currency are the actual bills. So if you have bills that you deposit, you put that total here. Any coins that you happen to have, that total will go here. And then the check that you're going to deposit, this is a number, and I'll show you where that number is at here in a little bit. That kind of identifies the check. And truthfully, on my account, I'll put who I received the check from instead of this number. And then here's the amount of the check. Then you'd add these all up, and that's your total deposit. So to record, after we do the deposit, we have to record it on the check stub or in a check register, but most of the time with businesses, we're going to use a stub. Okay, so we write the balance brought forward. Since we haven't written a check, we're just opening our checking account, we're going to put 0 here in the balance brought forward. Okay, later on, we'll show you how to calculate the new balances. So then we write the day of the deposit, so in this case January 2nd, and here you are seeing that we're just using numbers. Then we write the amount of the deposit, then we calculate the total. So then we do 0 plus 2,000 is 2,000, so that's our new subtotal. Now when you deposit a check, you have to do what's called an endorsement. An endorsement is a signature or a stamp on the back of the check transferring ownership. There are 3 types of endorsements. First, you have a blank endorsement. Okay, a blank endorsement is an endorsement consisting only of the endorser's signature. Okay, so all you're going to do is sign your name. That's it. Now, one item about this: once you sign it, that anybody can cash that check. Okay, so if I'm doing a blank endorsement, I'm not doing that until I get to my bank. A special endorsement is the second type. It's an endorsement indicating a new owner of a check. Sometimes the special endorsement is known as an endorsement in full. So here, somebody owes me money. They got a check from somebody else. They're going to transfer that check to me. So we're going to do pay to the order of Helen Goldsmith, okay, So she signed it and transferred it over to Michael Delgado. Once Michael Delgado goes, then he can use any kind of endorsement as he wants. There's usually a restriction about how many special endorsements can be done. Usually you can only transfer it once like this. The third is restrictive. The endorsement restricting further transfer of the check's ownership. So the only thing that can be done is what's written on the check. So in this case, it says for deposit only to the account of Delgado Web Services, and then Mr. Delgado signed his name. Okay. I do mine a little bit differently. I put for deposit only to, and I write the account number. I don't put to the account of Morgan Daniels. Okay. So once we have money in the account, now we can write checks. I'm a left to right, top down person. So I start over here with the stub. So the first thing we're going to write up here on the top line is the amount of the check. How much are we going to write this check for? The second is the date. Okay. Third thing we're going to write is who we're giving this check to. So in this case, East Side Supplies. And then we're going to write what is this check for. So in this case, we're buying supplies with cash. Okay. Then I come down here. Here I brought this subtotal down to this subtotal line. Amount this check, I write this amount again here, 165. Then I calculate the new balance. Since I wrote a check, I need to subtract. Once I have the stub done, then I can move over to write the check. So again, we're going to write the day the check was written. The next line is who it was to, and also the amount in numbers. Next, we're going to write the amount in words. Here they put no over 100. Sometimes I put 00 over 100 if there's no change. If there's change, then I write that the amount of change up here. Then we draw a line through the rest of the line here to indicate so nobody else can write anything after this point. The 4 is the memo. Again, why did we write this check? So in this case, we wrote for supplies. And then the last thing is to write or sign your name. All right, now, sometimes we got to void a check. We wrote the wrong amount. We did something wrong on the check. We have to cancel it. We still need to record that in our journals, okay? Just so we don't lose track of what check number we're on and what happened to that check. So the first thing we're going to do is write the date in the date column. We're going to put void in the account title. We put the check number that we're voiding. We do a check mark in the post reference because there's nothing to post. And then we draw a line through both the debit and credit columns. Okay. This will be about the only transaction that we have only one line that we're going to use. Okay.